Cannot believe that they lost that game last night. I mean, where do we even want to begin with the stats from this one, Anthony? They have a 23-point lead going into the fourth quarter. They have a 23-point lead in the second half. They don't score in the final 4:38. They have a 21-1 run at the end of the game. Daniel Gafford, who seemed like he was playing pretty well for the early part of the game and helped the Wizards starters be much better than they have been recently, doesn't play a minute in the fourth quarter. And they lose. They lost the game. I cannot believe they lost the game. I don't have, I know they're bad. And that's the thing. It's we're not surprised that the Wizards lost to the Raptors. That's not a surprise at all. But they came out and they were fairly dominant for 3 quarters. And at the end, the complete inability to finish is just galling, stunning. And I think that there's a checkers and a chess level to this, and we're going to start with the checkers level. But to blow a lead of that magnitude is a total and epic failure on both ends of the court that just shouldn't happen at the NBA level when you have NBA players. And this is not a well-built team. That is by design. That is fine. But it does, I think it brings on a lot of questions about just how bad this year is going to be. You do start obviously asking questions about Wes Unseld Jr., and whether those are fair or not, I want to tackle in a second, or what the answers are to those questions I want to tackle in a second. But I feel like it's a requirement for 3 minutes here to just go, you can't lose that game. What are we doing? How were you watching that live, Anthony?
I was indeed.
So I was watching most of the game, and Rachel had a really long day, and she sits down on the couch eventually, and I was like, would you like to watch something else? And she's like, I really would love to just veg out, and yes. So we flip on The Voice, which is what we watch a lot of weeknights because we're still somehow behind, which is actually great because it's available for us on demand whenever we want. And then I pull up my iPad, and I had put the game on the iPad to watch. And so I'm kind of peeking out, and the lead just keeps shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. And at some point, I just blurt out in the middle of rehearsals for some duo on Team Gwen. What a sentence. They're about to blow this. The Wizard, and at that point, the Raptors were still down 6, if not more. And I was like, the Wizards are about to blow this game. You just start doing the math, and it's ridiculous. And then they have a chance to go back or to tie it late. Kuz catches the ball, and he's got a toe out of bounds, and you don't even get your chance. But I think watching Jordan Poole shy away, drive and shy away from contact, when you're for your career almost a 90% free throw shooter until this year when you're for some reason 76. The general nonchalantness of Poole is starting to really irritate me. It's just and you have the lineup questions that you have, and a guy like Denny Avia is getting a chance down late, and he just bucks it up. It's Keystone Cops stuff, which is unfortunately has a long, proud tradition in Zardo's history of Keystone Cops level basketball. But I just didn't think, and maybe I'm an idiot, I didn't think it was going to be this bad. And frankly, I will say this too, I don't think it has to be this bad. I think that's the part that actually turns into an interesting discussion.
Yeah, it was definitely painful to watch. But, I mean, it's also a Wizards thing to kind of do. We had a 23-point lead in the third. They get it down to 10 to close the fourth. I mean, to close the third. And it's I just had a feeling we were going to lose the game. And then what I really didn't understand was the Raptors were being bullies to us. They were killing us in the paint. And for some reason, we never went back to Daniel Gafford, who's our,
the only big that they have.
Exactly. So I'm just
it's so funny. Mike Muscala's been in the league, and I'm sure he's a great dude, and there's a real reason that he's been in the league as long as he has. But it seems like everybody loves Mike Muscala as an idea, and then they hate actually playing him. And I'm just I don't know. Everyone says he's good. Why can't he get on the floor? He's very tall.
Super tall.
He played 7 minutes last night. And he's DNP'd a bunch of times this season. He's only played in 6 of the 10 games.
Wow.
Like, he's your backup 5. You have to play him.
Yeah, so, I mean, they went away from – I don't know where their game plan was in the fourth quarter, to be honest. We couldn't put the ball in the basket, couldn't draw up anything out of timeouts, turnovers left and right. Like, we allowed the Raptors to literally go on a 16-0 run just to end the game, and it's just like, wow, such a Wizards thing to do.
So here's where this becomes the chess level discussion, because everyone immediately just wanted to crush Wes last night. And in a regular season where the point is to win every game that you possibly can, I think he did a poor job last night. What I think we have to keep in mind is that's actually not his job right now, which feels really bad. And in some ways, this is a cousin of the discussion we just had about Sam and the development for the Commanders as quarterback as being, is it more important than the team, right? I think the NFL and the NBA are very different beasts. I think in the NFL, one, the Commanders are in a very different place from a talent standpoint than the Wizards. That's thing one. Thing two, the NFL is a much flukier league. It's a much more even league. And there is a little bit of that any given Sunday type of thing where the NBA is like, nah, they're not going to win very many games. Like, we get it. We all understand the score here. Right. So what's the primary goal of the Wizards season? It is to be at as good a possible position to build a championship team moving forward. So last night, if you're playing checkers, right, you want to win the game. I don't bring Jordan Poole back into it. I play with Tyus Jones. I play with Landry Shamet. I play with a group that was much better than anything that happened when Poole was on the floor. But that's not my goal. My goal is to best position myself moving forward, which means either Jordan Poole is going to be a part of my future and I need him to figure it out, or I need him to figure it out so his trade, like you're fattening him up in terms of his stock, and we need you to score 25 a game so we can trade you for 2 first-round picks. Because right now, we're getting squadouche for you because you've been pretty brutal. And so if that's the case, 10 games into the season especially, like, you're just going to have to live with this. And the same thing's true for like a guy like Denny. Do I really, if I'm a good team, want Denny Avdia going ISO on a late possession? No, I don't. Like, straight up hard pass, no. Do I want Denny Avdia on this team to do it so that he gets that experience and in a future playoff game 3 years from now he feels comfortable doing it because he's made his mistakes 3 years ago? Yeah, that is what I want to happen. I want him to get his turn, or that we've traded him for someone else. And I think that there's going to have to be a shift here soon because you don't want to just lose everything in terms of your culture. And you need to reward people that are playing well and displaying good habits, which is why Bilal Coulibaly, I know that there's a huge emphasis on saying his name correctly, so I will summon my inner ability to speak very little French and say Coulibaly, needs to be on the floor more and in crunch situations, but you also don't want to overload him. Like, he's 19, he's so far at the beginning of his journey that the middle isn't even visible, nevertheless the end. And so there's going to be a management here that is going to feel very stupid and feel like Wes Unseld Jr. is a bad coach. And this is not me actually defending Wes. Outside of, I guess, last night to an extent, I am. It's just saying that, like, the job of winning NBA basketball games doesn't seem to actually be his job right now. And if you get to a point where that is his job and his rotations still are nonsensical or decision-making in-game, his feel for it feels very off, then I think you need to have a different discussion. And there are moments where I'm sure Michael Winger and Will Dawkins are assessing that. But at the end of the day, the best thing for the franchise right now, unfortunately, is to let these players who are doing very silly things or playing very poorly in very key situations or horrendously unpredictable each night, which is also the hard part for Wes's job. It's like, what's your closing lineup? I don't know. It's Tuesday. Ask me again on Wednesday, and it'll be different. And on Thursday, it'll be different. And on Friday, it'll be different because none of these guys are that good. But on any night, any number of them can be kind of good. It's just impossible. And so, yeah, that's where I'm at on the Zardos. We'll probably have this discussion multiple more times this year. And we're happy to continue it if you'd like next. 301-230-0980. Happy to take some whiz calls. Happy to get back into the Commanders. Also, we might pop a little what else happened this weekend because there was a big event that I want to talk about at least for 2-3 minutes in this as well before we get to the end of the show. The end of the show is coming. Real things before the end of the hour. Final half hour on the Hoffman Show. Team 980, always live as well on the free Odyssey app.
What's up, kiddos? It's your boy Clinton Yates from ESPN. It's the Hoffman Show on the Team 980. Tell your mama I said what's up.